I died in that goddamn house, choking on floodwater that tasted like regret and broken dreams. My screams drowned out by the roar of the river I'd never seen coming. One minute, I was signing the papers, visions of barbecues and baby showers dancing in my head. The next, the world was underwater. And so was I, betrayed by the smiling faces who'd sworn it was my forever home. But death isn't the end when you've got unfinished business. I woke up gasping. Not in the afterlife, but 3 months earlier. Pen in hand, their lies fresh on my tongue. My name is Reagan Ellis. And the second time around, I knew exactly how to smile through the bullshit. It was a crisp October morning in Willow Creek, Ohio, small-town America at its apple pie finest, where everyone knows your business but pretends they don't. I'd driven 4 hours from my cramped apartment in Columbus, heart pounding like a bass drum at a high school football game, to sign the papers on 142 Maple Lane. The house was everything I'd scraped and saved for, a butter-yellow colonial with wraparound porch, white shutters framing windows that begged for curtains, and a backyard big enough for the dog I didn't have yet but swore I would. At 28, after years of dead-end jobs and a string of assholes who ghosted faster than a bad Tinder date, this was my fresh start. My American dream, gift-wrapped and waiting. The Hargrove family was there to greet me, all teeth and handshakes, like we'd been neighbors since the Mayflower. First was Harlan Hargrove, the Silver Fox patriarch in his mid-50s, khakis crisp as his sales pitch. Reagan. Honey, this place has been in the family for generations. It's got soul. Can't buy that at the mall. His wife, Evelyn, hovered like a step-forward shadow, her pearls gleaming against a cashmere sweater, offering lemon bars that stuck to my teeth. Then the kids, Trent, the golden boy son, 30 and built like he lived at the gym, flashing a grin that said, "Trust me, I'm harmless." And Lila, the sharp-eyed daughter, 26, with my same shade of chestnut hair, scrolling her phone but chiming in just enough to make it feel personal. They were the picture of Midwestern wholesomeness, church on Sundays, block parties in summer, the kind of folks who'd help you change a tire at midnight. I didn't know then what I know now. That soul was poisoned, generations deep. Harlan had inherited the house from his bootlegger grandpa, who'd built it on a floodplain nobody talked about because the river was just seasonal. But seasonal turned sinister when the county rezoned for development, jacking up property values. The Hargroves couldn't sell legally. The foundation was cracked like a junkie's veins. Subsidence from underground springs that turned basements into bathtubs. So they flipped it off-market to suckers like me. Desperate single women with decent credit and dreams bigger than their bank accounts. We sat at their scarred oak table, the scent of fresh coffee masking the faint mustiness I'd chalk up to character. Harlan slid the contract over, his Montblanc pen glinting like a lure. No contingencies. Reagan. We trust you to love it as is. I scanned the fine print, standard boilerplate. Disclosures buried in legalese. Flood zone? Mentioned once. Vague as a politician's promise. I signed, my hand steady despite the flutter in my chest. Trent clapped me on the back. Too hard. His cologne invading my space. Welcome to the family, Ray. Lila snapped a photo for the gram, her laugh tinkling like wind chimes in a tornado. Closing was a blur of wire transfers and well wishes. I handed over my life savings, $85,000 down, the rest mortgage to the hilt, and drove away with keys jingling like victory bells. That night, I cracked a bottle of cheap Merlot and danced barefoot in the empty living room. imagining holiday lights twinkling, friends crashing on the couch after too many beers. For the first time, I felt rooted. Unbreakable. 3 months later, move-in day, I arrived with a U-Haul stuffed to the gills. My best friend Mia trailing in her Subaru, blasting Taylor Swift to drown out my nerves. The sky was bruise purple, thunder grumbling like a hungover uncle, but the forecast said scattered showers.
No biggie.
We hauled boxes up the steps, laughing when one split open, spilling kitchen gadgets across the lawn. "This is it, babe," Mia said, wiping sweat from her brow. "Your castle." By noon, the rain picked up, fat drops smacking the roof like accusations. I shrugged it off, unpacking silverware while Mia assembled IKEA shelves in the den. Water pooled on the porch, cute,
Right?
until it seeped under the door, cold and insistent. "Weird," I muttered, grabbing towels,
Mia mutted.
joking about my lazy moat. But as the afternoon wore on, the trickle became a stream, then a surge. The basement stairs turned into a waterfall, echoing like a bad plumbing job from hell. Panic hit when the main floor buckled. Water rose to my shins, then knees, carrying debris from God knows where, sodden family albums, a child's teddy bear bloated like a drowned rat. Mia screamed for me to grab the cat carrier, empty. But habit, and we waited to higher ground, the second floor. Phones dead from the storm. Power out. We huddled on the landing, watching the life I'd bought swirl away.
It's okay. I lied.
My voice cracking. Insurance. But deep down, I knew. That itch at the signing. The way Harlan's eyes had darted when I asked about the sump pump. By dawn, the river had crested Black Creek, the one the town fathers swore was tamed decades ago. The house was a submarine, my U-Haul floating like a sad raft. Rescue came in orange vests and zodiacs, hauling us out to a shelter reeking of bleach and despair.
Mia ugged me goodbye.
Promising to call, but her eyes said pity. The adjuster arrived 2 days later, clipboard in hand, face like he'd swallowed a lemon.
Mom.
This property's in a high-risk floodplain. No coverage without FEMA elevation certificate, and yours ain't filed. I stared.
Numb.
The Hargroves? Vanished. Phone disconnected. For sale sign yanked down like it had never been. A quick Google dive, because fuck dignity, revealed the scam. Harlan's side hustle. Flipping problem properties to out-of-towners. Pocketing premiums before the waters rose. Victims from Toledo to Terre Haute. All silenced by NDAs or shame. My $85,000?
Gone.
Mortgage? Ballooning.
Job?
On hold while I couch surf Mia's place. Rage boiled slow, then volcanic. I confronted their old neighbor, a chain-smoking widow named who chain-smoked truths. Hargroves, salt of the earth, till the creek called their bluff. Harlan's daddy lost the farm same way, drowned secrets. I reckon, she coughed, ashing into a Folgers can. Girl, that family's built on floodwater. Lies thicker than the mud. Nights blurred into whiskey, and what-ifs. I saw Trent's grin in nightmares. Lila's laugh echoing like hyenas. Evelyn's lemon bars turned to ash in my mouth. Harlan's voice. Smooth as bourbon. Trust us. By week 3, the depression hit like a freight train, black dog with teeth, whispering I wasn't worth saving. Mia tried interventions. Therapy hotlines buzzed unanswered. One stormy evening, Black Creek raging again outside her window. I swallowed a fistful of pills washed down with the last of the Merlot. Tasted like copper and creek water. The room spun. Harlan's face the last thing I saw. Smiling. Always smiling. Then nothing. Black as the basement flood. And suddenly everything. I gasped awake. Not in a hospital bed or Mia's couch, but at that oak table. Harlan's pen hovering over my knuckles. Reagan? You all right, dear? Look a mite pale.
His eyes.
Those shark eyes.
Boring in.
Evelyn paused mid-lemon bar offer. Trent and Lila frozen mid-chatter. The contract stared up at me and signed. October morning. Crisp as betrayal. Holy shit. I'd come back. Heart hammering. I forced a smile, brittle, but believable. Just excited. Let's do this. But inside, a storm fiercer than Black Creek. This time, I wouldn't drown. I'd drag them under first. The drive home blurred. My mind a war room. Revenge wasn't a word. It was oxygen. I had 3 months to unravel their empire.
Threat bị rút tận threat.
First stop, library in Willow Creek. The one with microfiche yellowed like old teeth. Hours poring over deeds. Plat maps. Harlan's grandpa's obit. Drowned in 72. Freak flash flood. Pattern much? Dot's words echoed. Built on floodwater. Next. The county records office. A beige purgatory of fluorescent hum. I sweet-talked the clerk, flirty smile. Coffee bribe, into pulling flood histories. Bingo, 142, Maple Lane. Submerged 6 times since 65. Disclosed? Buried in a footnote Harlan's lawyer had lawyered away. The scam wasn't just the house, it was the network. Hargroves owned 3 more flips in the county. All creek adjacent. All primed for patsies. But exposure alone? Too clean. Too merciful. These bastards had taken my life literally. I wanted them to feel the choke. The slow rise of water in their lungs. Controversial? Hell yes. I'd bend rules. Break a few laws. Sleep with the devil if it meant their fall. Starting with Trent. Rebirth sharpened everything. The stink of exhaust on I-71. The bite of autumn wind nipping my cheeks. Back in Columbus. I didn't unpack the U-Haul ghosts. Instead, I hit the pawn shop. Hucking Grandma's locket for a burner phone and a laptop that wouldn't trace back to Reagan 1.0. Online sleuthing became my religion. LinkedIn stalked Trent Hargrove. Real estate wunderkind at his daddy's firm. Hargrove Homes. Profile pic, him in a suit. Arm around a client. That grin. Bio. Building dreams. One foundation at a time. Irony so thick it could grout tile. I created Ava. A ghost in the machine. Brunette avatar. Bio as a flirty realtor from Cincinnati. New to the market. Looking for connections. First DM, casual. About a listing he'd posted. He bit within hours. Ava. Love the energy. Coffee sometime? Neutral ground, say. Buckeye Brew in Dayton. Dayton, halfway. His turf.
Perfect.
We met on a Tuesday. Fog rolling off the Great Miami River like bad omens. Trent was taller in person. Shoulders filling out a polo like he'd pressed it with his ego. He bought lattes. Talk shop flips and foreclosure. Hidden gems that sounded like euphemisms for sinkholes. I played along, laughing at his jokes, touching his arm just enough to spark. You're not like the suits I deal with, I purred. channeling every rom-com I'd binged in despair. By the second meetup, dinner at a steakhouse with twinkle lights and overpriced ribeyes, he was spilling family biz secrets. Harlan's old-school shortcuts. Like skipping soil tests to close faster. "You're the son he wishes he had," I said, swirling Cabernet, my foot brushing his calf under the table. Hook.
Line.
Sinner. He blushed, actual pink on those farm boy cheeks, and confessed more. Lila handling the creative accounting, Evelyn charming inspectors with pies and prayers. The flood risk? Daddy says it's overblown. Climate hoax? You know. I nodded. Bile rising. Visions of my submerged boxes flashing. That night, in his hotel room, neutral, he insisted I let him think he was the hunter. Sheets tangled. His whispers loose with post-coital haze. "We've got this one property. Prime. But the creek's a bitch. Sell to the right mark. Though. I recorded it all. Phone hidden in my purse. Voice memos timestamped like evidence in a Dateline special. But seduction was appetizer. The main course was leverage. Next week, I broke up via text. Too intense. Needed space, leaving him hooked and hungry.
Meanwhile,
Ava dug deeper. Public records showed Hargrove Homes sued twice for non-disclosure. Settlements hushed with gag orders. Victims' names redacted. But one slipped through. Marjorie Klein, 2018. Lost her nest egg to a basement surprise in nearby Xenia. I cold-called her from the burner. Marjorie answered wary. Voice like cracked porcelain. "Who is this?"
Ispunatale, felaurealtor.
Researching comps. She softened. Spilling over chamomile tea I'd imagined steaming beside her. They seemed so kind. The Hargroves. Harlan promised stability. Then the rain. Everything gone. I had to declare bankruptcy. At 62. Her paws stretched. Heavy. Don't trust charm.
Dear.
It's the devil's cologne. I hung up. Fists clenched. Marjorie became my North Star. Not just revenge, but restitution. A class action whisper. Victims united. But Lila? She was the wild card. Sharper than her brother's blunt charm. I tailed her to a yoga studio in Springboro, Lululemon warrior. Downward dog with a vengeance. Posed as a drop-in. Mat beside hers. Small talk about flows and chakras. "You look familiar," she said post-class. Toweling sweat that smelled like ambition. "Ever been to Willow Creek?" I feigned coincidence. "God. That flood last year. Crazy. Right?" Her eyes narrowed. Fraction of a second. Then the mask. Sympathetic smile. "Nature's cruel. But home's what you make it." Over green smoothies, hers kale. Mine a guilty pleasure strawberry. She opened up, mistaking my nods for sisterly solidarity. Family biz is tough. Dad's old ways clash with my apps. Virtual tours. Blockchain deeds. But we make it work.
Blockchain? Cute.
I hacked her installator. Easy password. Hargrove 142. Finding DMs with a shady engineer. Bury the report. Buyer won't notice. Screenshot gold. Lila wasn't just complicit. She was the architect. Modernizing the con with tech flair. Evelyn was trickier. Homemaker fortress. PDA president. Volunteer at the food bank. I volunteered too. Ladling soup to the down and out. Her apron starched beside mine. "Bless your heart. Reagan," she cooed, mistaking my name tag for fate. Stories flowed. Harlan's provider, heart. Kids' bright futures. But cracks showed in her size. Nights alone while he networked. Trent's string of X's. Lila's phases. I probed gentle. Ever worry about the properties? Storms seem worse. Her laugh tinkled false. God's will.
Dear.
We pray on it. Harlan, the kingpin. I crashed a Chamber of Commerce mixer in Dayton. Cocktail dress hugging curves I'd forgotten. Badge reading, Reagan Tate.
Investor.
He was holding court by the shrimp, schmoozing suits with tales of legacy builds. I sidled up, flute of champagne bubbling like my rage. Mr. Hargrove, Reagan, heard you're the man for solid investments. His handshake crushed, eyes appraising. We talked tax breaks, appreciation curves. He name-dropped politicians, winked at insider tips. By evening's end, business card exchanged, invitation to tour a prime flip next week. That tour was my infiltration. The house, another creek kisser. Pristine facade hiding warped joists. Harlan pontificated features while I palmed his phone from the console, unlocked. Arrogant. Text to a fixer. Handle the grade. Cash on delivery. Photos of doctored surveys. I snapped pics with my own cell, heart racing as I slipped it back. Beautiful bones, I said, meaning skeleton in the closet. Back home. Pieces assembled. The scam skeleton. Hargroves bought cheap. Buried risks literal and legal, sold high to dreamers like me. Profits funneled to offshore accounts. Per Lila's accounting. Victims scattered. Shamed into silence. My death.
Catalyst. But now.
With foreknowledge, I built the trap. First move, anonymous tip to the county assessor. Forged docs leaked via Ava's email. Concerned citizen flagged the unreported floods. Inspectors swarmed 142 Maple, my future home, like bees on honey. Harlan called me frantic. Reagan. Delay the close? Some mix-up with permits. I played dumb. Worried. Oh no. Everything okay? Inside, checkmate tease. Trent texted Ava. Miss you. Drinks. I met him. Wired for sound. Teased regrets. He poured booze and beans. Dad stressed. This one's tricky. Water table high.
Hi.
Try criminal. I feigned empathy. Hand on his thigh. You deserve better. By dawn. Confessions recorded. Complicity confessed. Family fractures exposed. Lila? I bumped her at a coffee shop. Spilling latte as icebreaker. Apologies led to girl talk. Her frustrations. Dad's dominance. Sometimes I wonder if we're cursed, she whispered, stirring foam into oblivion. Cursed?
Nah.
Just crooked. I planted seeds. Ever think about going solo? Your ideas are gold.
Doubt sown.
Evelyn got a care package, cookies. Note. For the kindest soul in Willow Creek. Saw your volunteer work, inspired. Inside. USB with Marjorie's story. Anonymized. For your eyes only. Justice matters. Her reply email, harumphed address. Thanked. But CC'd Harlan. Sloppy. But it rattled. Harlan's tour invite? Accepted. But I brought a colleague, burner-bot drone, hovering discreet. Captured him gesturing flaws away. Lies, pixel perfect. Months ticked, November's chill. December's bite. My purchase loomed, but I prepped the flood, metaphoric. Hired a PI on credit. Dug dirt. Harlan's affair with the engineer. Trent's DUIs hushed. Lila's embezzlement skim. Evelyn?
Cleanish.
But enabler. Christmas Eve. I stood in my apartment, tree lights mocking, plotting the gift, their ruin, wrapped in red. New Year brought resolutions in blood red ink. Dismantle, devastate, disappear. January thawed secrets like snow off eaves. I escalated, controversial as crossing state lines with a fake ID, which I did for the next play. Drove to Xenia, Marjorie's bungalow sagging like her spirit. Doorbell chimed, Carol's still up, her face peering through lace curtains. You, she said, recognition dawning from our call. I held peace offering, thermos of decent coffee. Not her weak brew. Not here to pry. Here to fight. We sat in her floral kitchen, formica scarred by decades. She traced a mug rim. Voice quaver. Why you? What's your stake? Truth serum time, partial. Lost a friend to a bad flip. Hargroves. Her eyes widened. Flood memories surfacing. I laid cards, recordings,
Docs. The web.
class action. We sue. They settle big. You lead. Controversy brewed. Marjorie. Retired nurse.
No litigator.
But fire kindled. For the others. Yes. She connected its forum for victims. Private Facebook group I'd seeded anonymously. Creek Widows, they called themselves 10 strong. Stories syncing like horror symphony. 1. Carla from Lima. Lost Twins College Fund. Another.
Javier.
Immigrant dad bankrupted. We met virtual, Zooms encrypted, faces blurred. I was Echo, the shadow funder. Doling strategy. Leaked to press. Lawyer up pro bono via legal aid shark I'd charmed. Press? Ohio's ragtags hungry for scandal. I fed the Columbus Dispatch tip. Family realty empire built on flood fraud. Reporter. Lena Vasquez, hard-nosed Latina with Pulitzer dreams bit. Sources? She grilled over burner call. Follow the water. She did. FOIAs filed. Inspectors re-interviewed. Front page tease. Willow Creek's wet secret? Hargrove squirmed. I felt it in Trent's desperate DMs to Ava. Shit-hitting fan. Dad thinks sabotage. I replied coy. Sounds stressful. Needing ear. Met in a dive bar off I-75. Neon flickering like his nerves. Beers flowed. Then truths. Lila's pissed, thinks I talked. But I didn't. Much.
Much. Enough.
I pushed. Cut a deal. Testify. Save yourself. His face crumpled, boy in man's clothes. Can't rat family. But seeds sprouted. He ghosted Ava after. Radio silence, screaming guilt. Lila struck back. Hack my real email? Spam flood of phishing. Then a direct. We know you're digging. Back off. Or drown.
Cute.
I countered. Mailed her a gift. Flash drive with her own texts. Engineers of fair deeds. Note, solo sounds good. Or sink with the ship. She blocked me everywhere. But cracks showed. LinkedIn update. Excited for new ventures. Defection brewing. Evelyn, the soft underbelly. I visited the food bank again. Apron tied. But this time with purpose. Mrs.
Ash.
Heard about the article. Tough break. Her hands trembled ladling soup. Pearls dull. Malicious gossip. We're good people.
Good?
I press gentle. Marjorie Klein says hi. She was good too. Color drained. Spoon clattered. Later. Email from her, personal. Shaky. Meet? Please. Coffee shop neutral. Her across booth. Eyes red-rimmed. What do you want?
Truth.
Unvarnished. Your family destroyed lives. Including mine. Mine first slip. She paled further. Reagan? The buyer? Confession time. My death. Rebirth veiled as what if. She wept, clutching napkin shreds.
Harlan.
He promised no more. After his father. But promises broke like levees. She spilled. The scam's origin. Grandpa's drowning not accident, cover drunk drive into creek. Insurance fraud seed. Harlan inherited greed. Twisted at empire. I begged him to stop. For the kids. Kids complicit. Evelyn's controversial ask. Help me end it. From inside. Alliance forged. Mole in the henhouse. She'd feed intel, account numbers. Buyer lists. Harlan, direct assault. Our tour rescheduled. Tensions high. I arrived early. Drone in purse. Investor, facade polished. The flip house reeked damp. His tour rushed. Sweat beading. Prime. Reagan. Snag it before the hype. I nodded. Probing. Heard whispers flood risks. His laugh barked false. Hype from competitors. Trust me. Trust? I pulled ace. Like Marjorie trusted? Silence thundered. His eyes cold now. Calculating. Who are you? I smiled. Reagan unmasked. Your wake-up call. Bolted before fists flew. But not before drone caught him trashing a survey. Gold footage. Backlash hit. Dispatch dropped the bomb. Hargrove Homes. Empire of errors. Lena quoted anonymous insiders. Evelyn's leaks laundered. Protests brewed. Victims picketing the office. Signs dripping, don't get soaked. Trent called, real number. Panic raw. Ray. It's bad. Dad's raging. Help. I met him in Woods off, Route 42. Neutral as pine needles. Testify, I urged. Wind whipping. He paced. Leaves crunching. They'll hate me.
Hate?
Better than prison. He nodded. Broken. Okay. Lila? She texted Evelyn, intercepted. Mom. Bail or betray. Fracture lines spidered. Harlan lawyered up. Countersuits flying. Defamation. Slander. But evidence mounted. My mosaic of sins. Controversial pivot. I doxed lightly. Harlan's affair splashed on a realty gossip blog. Trent's DUIs to his boss, me. Undercover. Illegal?
Borderline.
Effective? Devastating. February's freeze mirrored the chill in their home. I imagined it. Evelyn's whispers to Harlan turning to please. She texted updates. He's selling assets. Panicked.
Good.
I rallied the widows. Lawyer retained. Suit filed. Marjorie fronted. Voice steady on conference call. For us all. But revenge's edge cut self.
Nights.
I dreamed the flood. Water rising. Trent's face morphing to mine. Mia called, real life intruding. Ray, where you been? Date soon. Guilt gnawed. Lies layered. Busy with work. Work. Weaponizing pain. Climax brewed. Closing date. March 15th. My purchase staged. Cameras hidden. Allies poised. Harlan insisted meet at the house. Clear the air. Trap sprung. March roared in like a lion with a grudge. Winds howling off Lake Erie. Whipping Willow Creek into frenzy. The closing was set for noon. 142 Maple Lane. Irony's altar. I'd prepped like D-Day. Drone overhead. Body cam under blouse. Widows on speed dial. Lawyer lurking in an unmarked van down the block. Evelyn confirmed. Harlan alone. Kids sidelined in family meeting. Trent texted capitulation. I'm out. Recording my statement today. Lila? Radio silence. But her LinkedIn screamed, independent broker, New Horizons. I pulled up in a rental Civic, untraceable plates, keys from last life jingling mocking. The house loomed, yellow paint mocking under gray skies. Harlan waited on the porch. Suit rumpled. Face haggard sans silver polish. Reagan. Let's talk. No handshakes, we circled kitchen island. Contract splayed like a corpse. You're behind it, he growled. No preamble. The leaks. The suit. Why? I met his stare. Unflinching. Because you sold me death. Death, my ace. Played slow. His brow furrowed. What? Storytime. The flood. The pills. The void. I died here.
Harlan.
Because of you. His laugh started strong. Died wheezing. Crazy talk. Sign or sue your call. But doubt flickered. Evelyn seeds? I pushed. Marjorie.
Carla. Javier.
How many graves before you stop? He leaned in. Breath scotch sour. Business.
Girl.
Survival. This town's dying. I'm the lifeguard. Lifeguard?
Drowner.
I slid USB across his affair vids. Dr. Docs. Trent's confession audio. Play it. Or I do for the dispatch. He snatched. Plugged into laptop. Kitchen Wi-Fi his noose. Trent's voice crackled. Dad knew the risks. We all did. Sold anyway. Harlan's face ashen. Fists white. That boy. Rage boiled. He lunged. Chair scraping. I dodged. Heart thunder. Controversial calculus. Fight or flight. Flight. But not empty. Grabbed his phone en route. Smashing it under heel. For old times. Outside. Rain spat warnings. Black Creek murmuring menace. Drone hummed confirmation. All caught. But twist. Sirens wailed distant. Cops? My lawyer's doing. Warrant on non-disclosure fraud. Tipped anonymous. Harlan bolted porchward. Yelling. You'll regret. I yelled back. Already did once. Chaos erupted. Cruisers skidding gravel. Uniforms spilling. Harlan cuffed on trespass his own house. Poetic. She's the buyer, he bellowed. Cop shrugged. Not per records. You're squatting. Sir. Squatting? My forgery. Title clouded via county hack. Courtesy a widow's IT whiz. He thrashed. Veins bulging. This is my legacy. Station house circus. I gave statement cool, victim. Not vigilante. Lena Vasquez lurked press pen. Notebook flying. Reagan Ellis. Whistleblower or wronged? I smiled for Flash. Both. Trent arrived voluntary. Statement sworn tears. But truth. I couldn't anymore. Lila? Burst in dramatic, hair wild. Eyes fire. Don't say shit. Trent. But too late. She cracked under questioning. Spilling embezzlement to save skin. Dad made me. Evelyn? The gut punch. She drove up as Harlan loaded squad car. Face ghost pale. Harlan, he spat. You're doing? She shook head. Voice steel. Ours to end. Turn to me. Whisper. Thank you. But eyes haunted. Later. Her affidavit sealed it. Decades complicit. But repentant. For the children. Arrests dominoed. Harlan felony wire fraud. Lila tax evasion. Trent misdemeanor accessory. Plea deal for testimony. Hargrove home shuttered. Assets frozen. Widows won preliminary injunction. Millions eyed. Marjorie called. We did it. Echo. Echo faded. Reagan emerged. But revenge's aftertaste?
Bitter.
Mia confronted. Where the hell?
Ray?
Saw the news, you're famous? Lies crumbled. I confessed partial. Chasing ghosts. She hugged fierce. Don't again. Date set, normalcy nudge. Spring bloomed mocking. I didn't buy 142. Demolished instead, county order. Site razed to dirt. Stood watching bulldozers chew porch. Catharsis in roar. But twists loomed. Harlan's trial.
May.
Subpoena pulled me witness stand. Spotlit. Courtroom sweltered Cincinnati justice. Would panel oak stern. Jury Midwestern mix. Farmers. Teachers. Skeptics. Harlan center stage. Suit rented. Eyes daggers my way. Prosecutor painted vivid. A family preying on dreams. Flooding futures for profit. Exhibits flashed my drone vids. Trent's tears on tape. Defense spun. Hard times. Honest mistakes. My turn. Oath sworn. Voice steady. They sold me a home. Delivered a tomb. Gasps rippled. Judge banged quiet. Detailed the flood. The despair, not death. Too spectral. Harlan objected. Fabrication. But jury leaned. Hooked. Cross-exam his lawyer. Slick as oil. MS. Ellis. Obsession? Stalking allegations. Controversy crested. I'd bent laws. Hacks. Forgeries. Seduction tapes. Means justify, he pressed. I met eyes. And save lives. Jury murmurs. Lena scribbled frenzy. Twist dropped bomb. Forensics on Harlan's phone. Pre-arrest smash revealed text to me. No, planted?
Wait.
Lila testified flip. Dad framed me. Transfers bogus. But deeper. DNA on a survey scrap. Harlan's.
But matched.
Grandpa's obit photo? Wait.
No.
Recess smoke break. Lena cornered. Off record. Evelyn slipped me this. Photo. Young Harlan. Arm round a girl, my spitting image. His sister. Drowned 72.
You.
Look like her. Chills spidered. Rebirth? Not random, echo? I laughed hollow. Coincidence. Trial dragged. Weeks of wrangling. Trent plea bargained community service. Lila probation with restitution. Harlan? Convicted. 10 years, white-collar pen. Sentencing. He glared. Unbroken. You'll pay.
Girl.
Blood's thicker.
Blood?
Photo burned pocket. Aftermath swirled. Settlements poured. Widows housed. I pocketed enough for down on a condo. Creek free. Mia's wedding June. I stood bridesmaid. Dress lavender. Laughing real. But nights. The creek whispered, unfinished. July heatwave. Evelyn called. Visit. Her home. Hargrove Manor. Sold but lingering. Porch swing creaked welcome. Forgive, she asked.
Tea-iced.
Controversial absolution. Trying. She handed envelope. Letters. Harlan's jail scrawls, rants. Then regrets. He broke first time. With her. Her sister. Reagan Sr. Drowned saving him from creek folly. You remind. Closure. Twist crystallized. My death, not suicide. Flashback sharpened. Pills? Forced? No. Harlan's taunt post-flood. Walk away. Or we make you. Threat veiled. But I'd snapped. Rebirth. Karmic loop. Sister's ghost in my veins? I burned letters. Ashes to wind. Closure's mine. Summer faded sticky. Autumn circling like vultures. Second chances cycle. Condo in Columbus gleamed. Granite counters. No basements. View of Scioto River tamed by dams. Job upgraded. Real estate paralegal. Irony embraced. Vetting disclosures with hawk eyes. Mia's honeymoon pics flooded feed. I liked. Heartful. Dates dabbled. A barista with tattoos. A teacher with laughs. But ghosts lingered. Harlan's glare in mirrors. Widows thrived. Group morph support net. Annual picnic sans pies. Marjorie keynote local TEDx. From flood to fortitude. Carla's twins college bound. Javier's food truck booming. My cut? Donated half. Scholarships. Ellis flood fund. Rest. Nest egg.
Route tentative.
But controversy clung. Online trolls dubbed me Flood Witch. Podcast dissected. Vigilante justice or vixen vengeance. Lena's book deal pitched Creek of Lies. Me chapter muse. I declined interviews. But whispers followed. She slept her way to the story. Truish slept fine. Trent? Sighted once. Dayton Jim. Eyes down. Nodded truce? Lila's firm. Boutique ethical flips. Her apology email archived unread. Evelyn faded graceful. Moved Florida. Volunteer hospice. Last call. Harlan.
Softening.
Writes poetry. Poetry? I chuckled. Send a funny. None came. Fall peak. Leaves pyre orange. Itch returned. Dream. Creek rising. But I swam strong. Not sinking. Woke resolved. Visit site. 142 raised. Lot weedy. For sale. Build your dream. Irony eternal. Stood boundary. Wind gusting ghosts. Not mine, I whispered.
Turned.
Drove free. Twist finale. November mail. Manila thick. Harlan's lawyer. Probate. Inheritance. Open trembling. Will codicil.
Post-convict.
To Reagan Ellis, the truth. Enclosed. Journal. Yellowed. Grandpa's hand? No, Harlan's youth. Entry scrawled. Sister's death. His fault. Pushed her in play fight. Panic cover. Reagan drowned for me. Legacy curse. My name, coincidence? Or pull? Journal chronicled scams. Each flip penance. Wash sins in water. Madness? Method. Last page. You came back. To end it. Forgive. Niece. Niece. Photo confirmed. Harlan's sister. My grandma. Family tree tangled. Ellis sighed hushed creek kin. Betrayal blood deep. I'd avenged kin unwitting. Rage?
No. Release.
Burn journal condo hearth. Flames dancing. Called Evelyn. Knew? Her sigh. Suspected. Wanted better. We wept. Hung up healed. December now. Current date mirroring first death. Tree trimmed. Mia's party buzzed. I danced. Wine warm. No Merlot ghosts. Hook's end. Not shock.
But spark.
Life rebooted. Scars badges. They sold me a perfect house, flood revealed scam. But I sold them truth, justice flood's deepest. And in the deluge, I learned to swim.